Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of What's Cooking. And what's cooking tonight is fusilli pasta with roasted butternut squash and mushrooms. And I have already prepped my butternut squash. So you can buy it pre-cut in little chunks like this, but if you're trying to save money, it is cheaper to just buy a squash and prepare it yourself. Easiest thing that I've found, guys, microwave the squash whole, like poke some holes in it with a fork, for like 1 minute per pound. Like this was a 3-pound squash about, so I microwaved it for about 3 minutes. And I just let it sit in there until it cooled off enough for me to be able to handle it. Then you can peel it with a paring knife or with a peeler, and the peels come off so much easier. So then you just scoop the seeds out, dice it up, whatever. So I've got my squash here on my sheet pan with some parchment paper. And I have my oven preheated to 350. I'm gonna throw some olive oil on here, a good amount, probably about 1/4 cup. There's a lot of squash on here. And I'm also gonna throw on some fresh rosemary and thyme. I had some left over, so I'm gonna use it because I don't like letting this stuff go to waste. So I will just throw it in here, and that will taste really good when it's done cooking. Because later on I'm going to throw the mushrooms in. They do not need as long as the squash does. So those will go on a little later. Plus, if you guys saw my video from yesterday, you'll know that I did a dish with roasted mushrooms. The boys were not happy that they were giant pieces. So, as good as they tasted, I will be chopping them a bit smaller tonight, but roasting them in the same sort of way just to kind of get that flavor. I'm also going to throw just some salt and pepper on here and then stir it around, pop it in the oven, and some garlic actually. Got to get that garlic on here. Probably a good heaping 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Love garlic. So, you know, why not? If you don't like garlic, don't add as much. If that's your thing. I mean, what else, guys, right? Make it your own. Do what you want to make these recipes your own. That is part of why I do these videos, too. Because then you can see what I do. Go to my website, find the recipe, and adapt it to your own tastes. That's how I do this. I find recipes that I like and I change them and I do what I like with them. So please, I hope you guys find that this sparks some creativity in your kitchen life and you guys just make these recipes your own. You don't want to use butternut squash, you want to use different kind of squash, go ahead. You want to use sweet potatoes, go ahead. This would probably taste really good with either of those things. So again, find what works for you and your family and just run with it. All right, that looks really good. It smells really good. I'm gonna pop this in the oven. Since the squash was microwaved for a few minutes, it's probably not gonna need as long, and the mushrooms are gonna probably take about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm gonna leave this in for 10 and then check them. When they're close to being done, I'm gonna add the mushrooms. And I will then be back to show you the rest of the stuff for the pasta. I also have my water starting to boil for my pasta, just so you guys know. All right. Oh, and don't forget, if you guys want to keep following me, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you can get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you're following me on Instagram, then head over to my profile and make sure you're following me there so you can get all the links and videos and recipes over there too. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so I have my pasta in the pot. Just gonna cook that till it's al dente according to the box directions. I have a little bit of olive oil in this pan heating up, and I'm going to add an onion. It's just 1 small to medium onion. I've diced it up, and a pound of ground turkey. We're just gonna brown that up. And while that's browning, I'm going to chop up my mushrooms because I will be putting those in the oven shortly with the squash. And then I will be adding a little bit more to this pan as well. So I'm going to brown this up, get that pasta finished, get the mushrooms chopped, and then I'll be back. Alright guys, so my mushrooms and squash are done. When I added the mushrooms, I did increase the temperature on the oven up to 425, and then I roasted them in there. I browned my ground turkey and my onion, and then I added about 1.5 cups of quartered cherry tomatoes. And when I added the tomatoes, I just turned the heat off just so they don't get all like soft and gross. And then my pasta is in the sink draining. So now I'm just gonna combine it all together, adjust the seasonings, and whoops, I made it. And then if I need to, add some more salt and pepper and a little olive oil if it's dry, but it doesn't look like it will be because the squash is really, really nice and juicy. And then just serve it up and top it with some green onions, and then that's it, guys. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you guys try out this recipe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you can get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you're on Instagram watching this, make sure you head over to my profile and follow me there. And you guys can catch me on Instagram TV. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.